What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight yet again, and talk about this game being kind of the first of hopefully many. Another kind of discussion of how big I think this game is going to be. Look, I mean, we can only base it off of right now, off of like social media and YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff, but the game seems to be, I mean, not only does it almost have like no right to look as good as it does, I mean, and by the way, I say that kind of jokingly because it does look phenomenal, and I actually think it does have a right, to look that good. But also, like anytime you bring it up, there is just this, you can feel this sensation, this excitement for it. There are so many people, I feel, that are very excited for this game, and it's not, again, I think it ties into how good it looks. I think it's easy to just be excited for a game based off a name or a premise, but then to actually see it and just to be kind of blown away by it, and I think that's where you kind of connect it with Lego, where it's like, to think that like this game would be the game that kind of has this this reaction, this heavy reaction from people is crazy. And I've said before, like I really think this could be one of the best games of next year, like a top 5, top 10 situation. And when you got things like Resident Evil, when you got things like GTA 6, when you got things like Gears of War, and I'm sure many other PlayStation, Xbox, and then the other publishers that you have to kind of fill in for this to even be considered. And I mean, yes, I guess I'm saying it, but I think a lot of people, like you go around and I see a lot of people say like Game of the Year 2026. I think a lot of that stuff does stem from a joke, but at the same time, it's not that far of an exaggeration, of a joke. Like it is, I think legitimately going to be one of the better games of next year. And that kind of brings me to this, right? I mean, you just see, it really does tie the reaction, because you could post, I saw somebody out there, I think it was maybe a PlayStation account out there, posted like a 15-second clip of Batman just doing a grapple thing, right? A kind of classic Arkham like thing, does a grapple and then gets into the Batmobile that kind of creates itself on the fly and then drives around. Very short clip. I think it got like 2 million plus views, on Twitter. Now, the algorithm, I think, of Twitter is always a little wacky, but that goes to show you right there that there is some legitimate excitement there, okay? So, I mean, all that stuff kind of is the opener, but where I want to also go with this video is like, and I've said this before, this is kind of the start. I think it's hard because it's a Lego game. It's a different type of thing. It's really, I think, well, it's honoring Batman and that legacy, but then it's also giving us kind of the 5th Arkham game that we maybe are never going to get in the first place. I mean, maybe Rocksteady can do it, but that's a 50-50 thing, and we can visibly see Lego Batman, whereas with Rocksteady's game, you kind of just have to imagine and hope that they can do it right. So, I want to say all that because, I just want to be fair. It is hard to say, okay, well, just do it again, right? Or just kind of like embrace this kind of feel and you're going to be good. I mean, talk's cheap, right? Like, I mean, the end result is the most important thing. But the DC side of, say, WB Games needs to use this as that jumping off point. I've said that in the past where you have things like, well, really not plural, singular, right? Where Hogwarts Legacy was the defining thing for the Wizarding World and obviously did so well and is, I think, just a rock solid game. Maybe not spectacular, but definitely not bad. Rock solid game and sells unbelievably well and gives you like that's your turnaround point. I mean, it's hard to even call it that for the Wizarding World because there really wasn't one before that, but that is your starting point for the Wizarding World, and you can see, or hopefully we do see, that they can build from that, right? A Hogwarts Legacy 2, some sort of multiplayer project that they're working on. I mean, we got Quidditch, and I think Quidditch actually is a really good game. It just didn't have the popularity that I thought it was going to have, and I think they probably thought it was going to have. So you take that and you go to DC, and I mean, like, DC Games has had a much worse stretch. Like, see, Wizarding World just didn't really have much, right? And you look at, like, say, the Mortal Kombat division. I mean, that had stuff, and Mortal Kombat's kind of in a weird place right now, but, it's still going relatively strong. They need DC to do that turnaround, and Gotham Knights was serviceable, but, it doesn't move the needle too much, and it definitely doesn't move the needle too much when you follow it up technically with Suicide Squad, right? And you take a gigantic step back, and then, if you remove those two games, by the way, you have next to nothing. You have Lego games, and then you go all the way back to like Arkham Knight, and that's like your legacy of DC games, right? You have Wonder Woman, that was canceled. So they really, I mean, like, again, Turning Point, they didn't really have much, besides a few things. Now, the couple things they had just flat out wasn't good enough. I mean, maybe Gotham Knights was technically good enough, but again, Suicide Squad took that step back. So, again, I understand, like, talk is cheap, and it's tough to take a game like this and then, like I said, say, okay, well, just like follow it up with another one. I mean, I've said that before. I get that's kind of difficult because I'm not literally saying like we'll just make another Lego game. I guess I'm saying use this as a turning point. Here's what I would say. Here's how I would kind of end the video too. Use this as an opportunity to tell yourselves that there is a insane audience, insanely good audience for these type of games that deserve them, that are there and waiting for them. I think really that hype that you're seeing for Lego Batman, that's kind of what I'm noticing and I'm getting at in this video. Like, and that's why I want more of these things. And hopefully, that should excite people. I don't know if game developers think that way. We know like executives probably don't think that way. They kind of only see numbers and figures and stuff. But, if you're a creative, I think it would be rather exciting to say, hey, even though that's not our game, say we're working at WB Montreal or we're working on maybe a secret superhero project or something, right? You're working on something. You see the reaction to this game and you say, they're still there. Because we saw a very different side of people with Suicide Squad because it kind of reflected the general opinion of Suicide Squad, right? But hopefully this shows like there's a lot of us. There's just so many people, and you can release, if you release a really good DC game, you are going to do a lot of units, right? Multi-millions, maybe even tens of millions if it's like a legendary one. So you have like numbers, and then you have like legitimate like people are out there that are following, that will create stuff for you, by the way, and kind of keep it going for you, and just people that can be like actively good, right? Instead of, I guess, actively bad, if you want to call it that, around Suicide Squad. Again, that matched it. Suicide Squad's a bad game, so opinions of it, were on the negative side. Hopefully this game shows like, hey, we put out even just like an above average game. People are going to be there and there's going to be that kind of support. And that's where, at least part of the turnaround can happen. The games have to come out, they have to be good, and you have to do more than one of them in a row. And obviously when you're jumping studios, you are technically asking a lot because you're asking a bunch of different studios to hit each time versus maybe just like one really good studio that's constantly able to hit right over and over. You're really asking like 3, 4, 5 different studios to hit like one each, and that might be harder. So I don't know. I look at this as hopefully a turning point. The game's not out yet, but I think it's going to be safe to say that this game's going to sell really, really well. It probably you could end it there because I guess like scores and stuff we don't know until it comes out, maybe public opinion, but I feel like it already has enough people there where like sales, at least initially, I think are going to be really good. We'll see about like afterwards, but this is a good starting point, and you got to take this and you have to continue it. Again, not necessarily with another Lego game. I mean, you can, but give us more, and also it's got to be quicker. It's got to be faster than a game. It's not even a game every year is the issue too, right? I mean, you have multiple studios, you have hundreds, of things you could pick from in the DC universe to get us one game a year, and not even that technically on average. It's not even that over the last 5. It hasn't even been one a year, so that's a problem. So that has to change too, I guess. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.